Live from WBBM TV Chicago, this is Channel 2 News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Bill Curtis.
And I'm Penny Daniels, in tonight for Adele Arakawa.
Our top story at 6, a warning to women. You may not be as safe as you think on a popular suburban bicycle path. 2 women have been attacked in the last 3 weeks, and tonight, police are expanding their search for a suspect. The attacks happened along a wooded bike path near Route 176 and Park Avenue in Libertyville. Channel 2's Anita Smith has more.
Very few people today enjoy this quiet, peaceful bike path surrounded by greenery. Twice now, these woods have shielded an attacker, most recently about 11 Monday morning.
The woman was walking westbound on the bike path here, and she was grabbed from behind by somebody who presumably came out from the bushes. She was subsequently taken a short distance down the path and taken off to the south side into the bushes and sexually assaulted.
Then he let her go. She helped an artist sketch this picture. The rapist is described as 6 feet tall, at least 170 pounds, with dark blonde hair. He's believed to be in his early 20s. Police think this man also went after the first woman. The attack 3 weeks ago happened about a half-mile west. The woman was walking to work along the bike path early in the morning. The man jumped out, grabbed her from behind. She fought and screamed, and the man ran away. The crimes have prompted dozens of calls to police, tips to follow up on, and concerns to try and ease. Linda Landeros and Stephanie Solove used the path this afternoon to walk to school. They say the 2 attacks make them aware but not afraid.
I'm not really bothered by it because, I don't think I'd come down here alone anymore.
That's the advice police give. Their suspect is bold enough to attack in daylight, so women must protect themselves by staying away from here or walking with a friend. Meanwhile, officers patrol the area and hope their suspect does not have the chance to victimize any more women. In Libertyville, Anita Smith, Channel 2 News.
Detectives are following up on each lead they've gotten, but so far nothing yet has panned out.
If you use bike or jogging paths, you may have to protect yourself against a possible attacker. Here are some tips for you. Always be aware of the people around you and look around to see what's ahead of you and behind you. And this is especially important. If you feel threatened, yell fire instead of help. Studies show people are more likely to respond to the word fire. Learn to think of normal items you carry with you every day as weapons. Things like a brush with a pointed handle, a set of keys, or a pen. And learn how to use them as weapons if you have to. And you can also carry a can of mace, a little something extra if you need it. Police take the tarp off a charred piece of metal that was once a shiny new car. Margaret Kagan barely escaped with her life after she opened her car door and a pipe bomb exploded. It happened in suburban Highwood. Police want to talk to Kagan's estranged husband about the crime. The couple is reportedly in the middle of a nasty divorce. Tonight, Kagan is hospitalized in good condition in Highland Park Hospital.
Tonight, the most important step yet in the medical mission of the Lakeburg Siamese twins. Surgeons have now decided to separate the babies tomorrow. Channel 2's John Duncanson is live at Philadelphia Children's Hospital, where the doctors revealed their plans today. John?
Bill, the operation begins tomorrow morning sometime after 6 a.m. It should take between 10 and 20 hours. Now, the Lakeburg family arrived in Philadelphia for the second time in 3 days today. They got the call last night. Doctors felt they should be here, that the condition of the twins is deteriorating, and that the time to operate is now. Tonight in Philadelphia, empty time forces the Lakeburg family to play the waiting game, the countdown to surgery.
I'm kind of excited to see him, but it's going to be sad knowing, yeah, it hurts.
Doctors still aren't offering up much hope for either twin tonight. They indicate they know which one they will let die on the operating table, but won't say whether it's Amy or Angela. Because the twins share a single weakening heart, 10 doctors will work to stop the flow of blood to one of the infant's brains. That will cause instant death. Then they'll try to save her sister.
I wouldn't use the word optimistic. I think probably the best words I could use were the ones that I gave you before, that said that there is some reasonable chance. No figure of estimate put on that because there's no benchmark by which to judge it, but at least some glimmer of hope.
It is a glimmer of a chance that Retha and Ken Lakeburg say they are looking for, as the numbing stress of the past several months has culminated into a final media spectacle. Today, walking through the airport, the father of the twins told me how
all
he
your
is
fears,
acting out these
you know?
final hours.
Living on all my fears right now, you know. Especially when I get there, it's going to hurt. That's when it's going to hurt, when I get there and see those babies. Know that that might be the last time that I see them.
Now tonight the family will be back spending time with little Amy and Angela. They tell us the twins are playful. They seem to be in good spirits on the eve of an operation that, no matter how you look at it, will have a tragic ending. Reporting live from Philadelphia, I'm John Duncanson, Channel 2 News. Bill, Penny, back to you.
John, thanks. Tonight, 3 Chicago area mobsters convicted of racketeering are going to prison for a long time, but they went down swinging as one accused the judge of being another prosecutor. 71-year-old mob boss Rocky Infelice received a 63-year sentence. 59-year-old Louis Marino was hit with 28 years. 53-year-old Bobby Bellavia got 30 years. The so-called mafia princes, Antoinette Giancana, disrupted the proceedings by applauding Infelice's criticism of federal Judge Ann Williams. Afterwards, she told reporters the sentences were too harsh. A new development tonight in the Chicago public school crisis. The teachers union is getting tough with its critics. Critics who want teachers to make concessions. With less than 3 weeks left until classes are supposed to start, the showdown means school doors might stay closed on September 6th. Channel 2's Mike Flannery is live now at a teachers union meeting with the latest. Michael?
Bill, that teachers union meeting has just concluded. Teachers union President Jackie Vaughn is just a few feet away here. She is explaining to the reporters and assembled members of her union why she and her members are saying no to specific requests for the Board of Education and the mayor and legislators that they make financial concessions. Earlier, we talked to one of the teachers who participated in this meeting. She tells us her family is what's making her say no.
Patricia Leander and her teenage sons are proud of their new kitchen cabinets. It's part of a modest home renovation project still underway. But the bills for it are also a source of worry because this divorced mother of 3 teaches in the Chicago public schools, and she's afraid her paycheck may soon be shrinking.
People don't seem to understand, the public, that teachers don't have bills also. These boys have to eat, they have to go to school. I have a mortgage to pay. We do have gas and electricity.
With the Chicago school system on the verge of bankruptcy, though, the school board is demanding a teacher pay freeze, with cost sharing on health care and pensions that could cut take-home pay by up to 10%. Visiting a school for children with disabilities, the mayor made the point today that everyone will have to sacrifice.
Everyone get together and tell the Board of Education and the union, you know what it is, you better settle it, because we want the schools open on time. Thank you.
A call for teachers to sacrifice, though, is not something Pat Leander thinks is fair, as the union delegate made plain just before she left home to drive downtown to this evening's meeting.
No concessions. No, none. We're going to walk the picket line unless we get what we asked for. There's no reason that we shouldn't get a raise.
That, of course, is not what the Board of Ed or the mayor or legislators want to hear. They say there's simply no money. As Union President Vaughn wraps up her statement, I've got to give you one big piece of news out of here. Vaughn is saying, forget all this talk about starting schools on September 8th without a contract, perhaps betting that things can be worked out later in the year. No way. She just said, no contract, no work, no back to school. Reporting live from the Bismarck, Mike Flannery, Channel 2.
Okay, Mike, thank you. Tonight, students and parents caught in the middle of the budget battle are taking matters into their own hands.
We're asked to address the Chicago Public Schools funding crisis. Will you please relay that message, Mr. Hall?
At school board headquarters today, 25 parents and students manned a bank of phones. They called every state representative and senator, urging them to hold a special session of the legislature to find new money for schools.
There's a lot more ahead tonight on 2 News. Up next, cops on a collision course. Squad cars speeding to an emergency create one of their own. Then,
go on pothole patrols. See how the city is fixing the streets and responding to your complaints.
Plus, they made history 30 years ago. Now these civil rights marchers are inspiring a younger generation.
If we all pull together and show more strength, like we did back then, it'll be real successful.
We'll show you who's planning a new march on Washington. Still ahead.
Nobody does it like you, the way that you do. Nobody's got the power to please me does it like you?
The 93 Cadillacs keep rolling in, and at my prices, they're rolling out just as fast. I'm Irwin Weil at Weil Oats Cadillac in Libertyville. Whichever new Cadillac you want, I'll make it worth your while if you buy it from me. I got them all, and I'm making deals. Want to save money on a 93 program car? I've got loaded sedan DeVilles for only $19,800. That's $19,800 for a loaded sedan DeVille. This is my 93 Cadillac clearance sale. Buy your next Cadillac for me, and I'll make it worth your while at Weil Oats Cadillac in Libertyville.
It's a beautiful place in a country.
The curtain is falling on L-Fish Furniture. Heilig Myers Furniture, one of America's largest home furnishings chains, has bought fish out, lock, stock, and barrel. And a Heilig Myers buyout means an L-Fish sellout. Every piece of merchandise, every single piece, is on sale at up to 60% off. The Heilig Myers L-Fish buyout sellout. It's not over until L-Fish looks like this.
Introducing light lunches from, of all places, Old Country Buffet. New salads, fresh soups, and now nachos fiesta, all for one low price. Light lunches from America's favorite buffet. Try us. We're real close to home.
Firefighters and paramedics swarm over a crushed police car trying to rescue Officer Thomas Beck, trapped behind the wheel. The work went on for close to an hour. Beck and 5 other officers were hurt when 2 squad cars crashed into each other. Beck's squad collided with an unmarked car carrying tactical unit cops responding to the same call, a report of a man with a gun. Firefighters cut away the roof of the squad car so that paramedics could remove Beck to a waiting ambulance. He and his partner and 4 officers from the unmarked car were taken to area hospitals. 2 were treated and released. The others are in fair to serious condition.
A protest in the Austin neighborhood pushes the city into action. Work crews are out filling potholes today. Now that's something that the residents say they couldn't get the city to do until they began fixing the potholes themselves. Workers poured tar on the bad spots before smoothing them over. Residents say all the streets are rough and some of the potholes are very deep. City officials know about the problem and they plan to fix it.
It's more wear and tear than it is potholes. There's a lot of traffic that goes down here. This is a high volume area. Basically, the street needs a resurfacing.
This seems to be what got the quick results. Residents and their children fixing the potholes yesterday themselves. The Northwest Austin Council organized that protest. They plan to continue to pressure the city until all their bad streets are repaired.
From our Northwest Indiana Bureau tonight, the story of dedicated friends and neighbors mobilizing to mark the anniversary of an historic march on Washington. It was 30 years ago that tens of thousands of people marched on the Capitol to demand civil rights. And now, as Channel 2's Dorothy Tucker reports, busloads of people are getting ready to go back.
It's the young people that we're really after, because many of them do not realize history.
So it was the old ones who walked the streets of Gary today, going door to door, encouraging people to get on the bus and go back to D.C. for the 30th anniversary of the March on Washington.
We were there for peace, justice, and we're going back again after 30 years for the very same reason.
They were all there in 1963, part of the 250,000 people who gathered at the base of the Lincoln Memorial. Nearly 1,000 people went from Northwest Indiana. They rode in buses, cars, planes, and trains.
30 years ago, one group of marchers met right here, Gary's old Union Station. About 120 people gathered and marched through those doors to catch that train to D.C.
They say the train pulled into the Gary station the morning before the march. One of those boarding was Darcille Campbell.
That was exciting. Everybody was friendly. There was no strangers there. Everybody was just together on that.
Audrey Barnett was also on board. She remembers the train pulling into the Washington station.
It was hot. Oh, yes. But you didn't even think about the heat and people, just people.
And then Dr. Martin Luther King got up to speak.
To lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood, now is the time.
Never in my life will I forget that speech. His speech flowed It just flowed. You had to listen.
Now the elder ones want the young ones to listen. They say everybody must return to Washington to continue the fight for justice.
If we all pull together and show more strength, like we did back then, it'll be real success.
Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty! We are free at last!
From the Northwest Indiana Bureau, Dorothy Tucker, Channel 2 News.
Then coming up for us, Michael Jordan speaks out for the first time since his father's death.
Also, you should keep your umbrellas handy. Steve Baskerville's up next with a wet AccuWeather forecast.
And the Bears set out to prove a former teammate wrong. Now, who could that be? Howard explains in sports.
Hey, we know you're busy and can't worry about the best time to buy a car, but here's a clue. The Jeep and Eagle clearance. Unlike any other because it's on great vehicles like Jeep Grand Cherokee or this award winner, Eagle Vision. And we're not shouting, but you get $500 back on 4-cylinder Jeep Wranglers and save up to $8 on Jeep Cherokee Sport. So take a time out. You could save a lot of money here. The Jeep and Eagle clearance. Worth looking into. Hey, we'll see you there.
See your local Jeep Eagle dealer. Design Studio defines the fresh new feel of contemporary living with today's most exciting home furnishings. New silhouettes, new shapes, new colors and textures, arranged with casual sophistication and eclectic flair. And now during Design Studio's store-wide sale, save up to 30% on special orders with additional savings on selected floor samples. At Design Studio on Dempster, just east of the Edens.
If you see news, if you catch it as it happens on your home video cam, call us, 1-800-Channel-2-News.
Imagine the luscious taste of Quaker Natural in a low-fat cereal. Here's original and low-fat Quaker 100% natural.
Any way you crunch, Quaker Natural, you love it 100%.
Low-fat Quaker Natural tastes crunchy, irresistible, and it's low in fat. Try it on fresh fruit, yogurt, even out of the box.
Any way you crunch, Quaker Natural.
Original and low-fat.
You love it 100%.
Today, $13,000 buys you about this much Mercedes. Or about this much BMW. But spend that money on a Nissan Altima, and this is how much luxury car you'll get. Nissan Altima. It's the most luxury car you can get for your money.
The death of James Jordan is prompting an emotional statement tonight from his son, Michael Jordan. Michael expresses gratitude for the outpouring of sympathy for the Jordan family, but he continues, quote, "I was deeply disturbed by the early reports speculating that there was a sinister connection to Dad's death. When James Jordan was murdered," he said, "I lost my dad and I also lost my best friend. I simply cannot comprehend how others could intentionally pour salt in my open wound by insinuating that faults in my life are in some way connected to my father's death," end quote. Meantime, the two men charged with Jordan's murder apparently are becoming targets of violence themselves. They're being kept away from other inmates in jail and moved to security cells for their own safety. Today, Channel 2's Jim Avila asked the neighbor of one of the suspects why a videotape made after the murder showed her and the suspects dancing.
You know how them new dancers come out? I don't know the name of them.
But it was just, but he didn't mention anything about where did he say he got the camera?
He told my husband that he stole it, but he told me he bought it.
Tasha Eitzen on the left is the girlfriend of suspect Daniel Green. She says she can't believe he's the killer the state claims him to be.
Governor Jim Edgar joins forces with city leaders across the state for a flood summit. About 150 state, local, and federal officials gathered at the governor's mansion to devise a plan to cut red tape and ease the pain of the flood disaster. Here's the latest. 4 more Illinois counties are added to the federal disaster list. In Olive Branch, the Army Corps of Engineers dumped tons of rocks to reinforce the Fayetteville levee in Alexander County. And Governor Edgar says the bill for flood-related costs just in Adams County and Quincy alone is topping $1 million. But there is a sign of hope. About 100 Midwestern families will try to forget their troubles for a week in Daytona Beach shores, Florida. Hotels, motels, and business owners are footing the bill so the flood victims can leave their worries behind and do a little traveling to Florida.
A welcome vacation for them on shore. Steve Baskerville here. What's up?
Well, just a little bit of rain around here in Illinois, and especially south of the city, but the good news is that it's all moving away, so we don't have to put up with a whole night of rain. But take a look now at where the trouble spots are. As a matter of fact, until 6:45, we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect in Iroquois County, which is south of Kankakee. The bright yellow that you see represent the rain or the thunderstorms that are the problems tonight. Some of those are almost off the screen as they move south of Lake and Porter counties in northwest Indiana. It's raining there, but nothing severe expected. Rain to the south and west of Kankakee, and that's some of the rain that could be a problem for Iroquois County and maybe the southern parts of Kankakee. So as we try to point out the areas of most concern, it's south of the city. Overnight tonight, I wanted to mention that later as I show you what to expect even before we get that far. Let's take a look at the current conditions. The temperatures are in the upper 70s now, 78 degrees at O'Hare, 79 at Aurora, and just about the same story as far east as the lakefront. The winds have shifted to the west now, 8 miles an hour. When they turn to the north, you will know it because that will actually clear the air and make it feel cooler tomorrow. It almost was 90 degrees officially today. But now let's get back and show you the reason why the weather will change. Most of it has to do with the storm that's over northern Illinois, and that one is dragging a cold front behind it. And you have the showers and thunderstorms first. Then you've got another secondary front to pass through, and that's the promise of cooler air on Friday. The temperatures only in the 70s around here and barely reaching the 70s along the lakefront. So to wrap it up, here's what should happen. Starting with right now, the rain is here early in the night. The thunderstorms possibly heavy, and those are south of the city. Clouds and sun and fog tomorrow, so it's a whole mixed bag until the middle of the day, and that's when the middle of the nicer weather arrives, partly sunny and less muggy than it has been. Tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday all look gorgeous around here and more comfortable weather. So I'll see you again at 10.
That's what we'd like to hear. Thank you.
Here you go.
Howard Sudbury here, talking baseball, and things are really heating up, eh?
Well, the White Sox can't even catch a break on their day off today. It's getting hotter in the American League West. Kansas City is putting the heat on. The Royals won today, and that trims the Sox lead to 2 games. Royals at Minnesota. First inning, and the old man at the plate, and the old man, George Brett, connects. Did he ever? Brett slams one into the upper deck in right field, his 14th home run of the year. But the hitting star for the Royals was Brian McRae, and that's gone. McRae had 3 hits and 2 RBIs, 4-2 Royals. They sweep the Twins, and they're only 2 games out. Last night in Boston, the Sox avoided a no-hitter, but not a loss. In the first, Frank Thomas blasted one to right field, but Andre Dawson goes up, bad knees and all, and makes the catch. And then another great play as the game goes on. Mike LaValliere hit it up the middle. Scott Fletcher gets it and gets LaValliere, and it's still a no-hitter until the 8th inning. With 1 out, of all people, Dan Pasqua belted it to deep center field. Looked like Billy Hatcher might get it, but it bounced off the wall and off Billy's nose and to the ground for a triple. 1 hitter for Danny Darwin, 5-0, Boston.
It would have been nice. I mean, to get. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not a little disappointed about it, but you know, it was fun while it lasted. The fans were behind me, and it was just a great feeling out there having everybody behind you after each pitch.
Sox are at Minnesota tomorrow night. Well, the Bears cut 5 players that you have never heard of today. The roster's down to 73. One guy you have heard of is Jim McMahon, and there is nothing he wants more than to beat Mike McCaskey's team twice this year, and he loves to get his digs in about the Bears.
Well, it's not the same division that I played in the past. A lot of teams have gotten better. And you know, back when I was with Chicago, it was either us or the Vikings that had a legitimate chance to win the division. Now it's pretty much every team, probably except Chicago, has a chance to win.
So the Bears can't win it, huh? Well, how did that news go over at Bear Camp in Platteville? We talked to a couple of Mac's buddies from his Bear days to get their response.
He's only going to be there a couple games anyway, so what's it really matter? You know, how far into the future can a one-eyed quarterback see anyway, so good luck to him. Hope he's around both games.
So take that, Mac. Round 1 of this battle between Minnesota and Chicago is September 12th, second week of the season.
Just ahead for us, we have a hint of the ripple effect of Jurassic Park in Chicago.
We will take you to one of the city's most popular new attractions right after a break.
Today Today's Sports, sponsored by Little Lotto. From the Illinois Lottery, the odds be with you.
A lot of people have been winning Little Lotto with 40 times better odds to win the top prize of at least $200,000. And it all started with one wise man.
Shh, he's coming.
Play Little Lotto.
We know the odds be with you.
Little Lotto from the Illinois Lottery. You guys are great.
So I'm thinking shrimp, where do I go? Long John Silver's a voice tells me so. I look for the sign, that voice never lies. For $1.99 I got fish, shrimp, and fries. So if you love shrimp, you gotta go fish. At Long John Silver's, you're gonna get your wish.
Let this little guy steer you in the right direction for savings and selection at Aero Chevrolet and Aero Chrysler Plymouth. The All-Pros are offering spectacular model year-end savings on over 800 new vehicles, including hot ones like this new 93 Plymouth Colt for just $73.93, and this new 93 S10 pickup for just $77.93. We're turning up the heat on our competition with our lowest prices of the year. Be sure to stop in today for better selection, bigger savings, and no waiting at Aero Chevrolet and Aero Chrysler Plymouth, both at 147th and Cicero.
It's almost over.
Harlem Furniture's
Lowest prices of the year sale.
ends Monday at 9.
Prices so low.
They can't be rivaled.
Will not be beaten.
Beautiful furniture.
Gorgeous furniture.
Lowest prices of the year.
Living rooms.
Bedrooms.
Dining rooms and dinettes.
Entertainment walls.
Italian leathers.
Accessories of all kinds.
Lowest prices of the year.
This is the one sale you can't afford to miss.
Harlem Furniture's lowest prices of the year sale.
Only now through Monday till 9.
Harlem Furniture.
You'll like our style.
What's better than 0% interest? 0% interest for 1 full year at Fredder. 0% interest on the top name brands. 0% on appliances, TVs, audio, VCRs, camcorders, computers, and more. All at Fredder's guaranteed low prices in every department. All for 1 full year. But hurry, 0% interest offer ends Saturday. Come in now and see why it's always better to buy at Fredder. And if anyone claims otherwise, there's no way.
A special exhibit is drawing huge crowds. It's our Chicago Snapshot tonight. It has a connection to the past. Not since the days of King Tut has the Field Museum seen lines like this. Well, welcome back to the good old days. What's bringing them back? This big fella, of course, dinosaurs. Popularity soaring. Biggest of the big. This is a Brachiosaurus, 60 feet above the marble floor. Now, the word is very late at night, young man. It takes a step or two.
He's a believer, I can tell.
And shows up at the other end. So remember where you saw it the first time. Got there early. Good night.
Good night.